In World War II, Germany commanded one of the largest armies in history. Over 13.6 million soldiers served during conflict. Today, Germany's military is dramatically smaller with around 181,000 active personnel. How did such a massive military machine transform into the modern defensive force we see today? This is the story of Germany's army then and now. The rapid expansion began in the late 1930s as Germany rearmed at an industrial scale, defying the restrictions set after World War I. Millions of citizens were conscripted, trained, organized, and prepared for a war that would soon engulf the entire world. By the time the invasion of Poland began in 1939, the German military was a formidable force. A key to its early success was innovation. Germany deployed modern armored divisions known as panzer divisions, which completely changed the nature of warfare. This new strategy, the blitzkrieg or lightning war, combined speed, surprise, and overwhelming force to crush its opponents. At the same time, the Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, grew into one of the most powerful and technologically advanced air forces of its time, dominating the skies over Europe in the early years of the war. The scale of the conflict was immense. On the Eastern Front alone, millions of German troops fought against the Soviet Union in some of the most brutal conditions imaginable. The vast distances, harsh winters, and fierce resistance stretched the army to its breaking point. But the cost of this massive war effort was devastating, staggering casualties, lost equipment that couldn't be replaced, and overstretched supply lines began to take their toll. The German war machine, once seemingly unstoppable, was beginning to grind down. By 1945, the tide had completely turned. Relentless Allied bombing campaigns had crippled German cities and industrial infrastructure, cutting off the army's supplies and shattering civilian morale on every front. The once massive German army was collapsing. Troops were exhausted, undersupplied, and facing overwhelming enemy forces from both the east and the west. With Allied forces closing in from all sides, the Nazi leadership, which had steered the country into total war, fell apart as defeat became inevitable. Deep in his Berlin bunker, Hitler's command over his crumbling empire vanished. The final act came with the Battle of Berlin. The Red Army fought its way into the heart of the capital, sealing the fate of the German military in a bloody street-by-street fight. With the fall of the city, the war in Europe was effectively over. Millions of German soldiers surrendered, and the once mighty military was completely dismantled in the aftermath of the war. To the devastation of World War II, Germany had to rebuild from the ruins. The national focus shifted entirely from military power to economic and social recovery. Aided by programs like the Marshall Plan, the idea of a German army was, for a time, unthinkable. However, as the Cold War began to divide Europe, the strategic situation changed. In 1955, West Germany was permitted to rearm and form the Bundeswehr. Crucially, this new army was established as a purely defensive force, fully integrated into the NATO alliance to ensure collective security and prevent any return to past aggression. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Iron Curtain, East Germany created its own military, the National People's Army. This force was aligned with the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact, creating a stark division within the nation itself. For decades, the German army stood on opposite sides of the Cold War. This standoff finally came to an end with the historic fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. The event paved the way for the reunification of Germany, which also meant merging its two separate armed forces. In the 1990s, with the Cold War over, Germany significantly reduced its troop numbers and began to redefine the role of its military, shifting its focus toward international peacekeeping and humanitarian missions. Today, Germany's military strategy prioritizes high-tech equipment and professional soldiers rather than massive troop numbers. The army operates advanced vehicles like the Leopard 2, one of the world's leading main battle tanks. The Air Force, or Luftwaffe, flies sophisticated Eurofighter Typhoon jets and a fleet of modern transport and support aircraft contributing to NATO's air policing missions. On the seas, the German Navy maintains a capable fleet of frigates, corvettes, and submarines designed for maritime security and participating in international operations. In the 21st century, warfare has also evolved, and so has the Bundeswehr. A growing focus is now on cyber defense, intelligence gathering, and the use of unmanned systems like drones. Protecting digital infrastructure is just as important as defending physical borders. Furthermore, the Bundeswehr rarely acts alone. It frequently cooperates with NATO allies in joint exercises and global operations, from the deserts of the Middle East to the waters of the Mediterranean, reinforcing its role as a partner in international security. So, let's put it all into perspective. This commitment to peace is reflected in the country's modern identity. The modern German soldier represents stability and international responsibility, not conquest or expansion. Germany's complex and often dark past has profoundly shaped its present, and the choices it makes today continue to define its future as a peaceful and democratic nation at the heart of Europe. History teaches, and it is up to us to learn its lessons. Thank you for watching. If you found this interesting, please like this video and subscribe for more History Explained.